the 1st of October, you go into the stores, you see the pumpkins, you see the mother with her little girl putting the witch's hat on her, and the little boy getting the devil mask, and you see the pumpkins, you see the Halloween pumpkins, you see people decorating their pumpkins with skeletons. And
let's talk about buttered sausage. Talk about buttered sausage, where it comes from, what it...
Have you ever wondered if time zones affected how we think?
Everybody is freaking out about this KFC commercial because they just revealed that their chicken is made with human meat.
Flying monkeys, Daryl, in the movie The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, absolutely. Who are the flying monkeys of the present?
Well, they were the griffins to Queen Califia, and Queen Califia is the Wicked Witch of the West.
The CIA had developed a program to assassinate Lumumba.
First-wave feminism sought to give women men's rights without men's responsibilities.
And it's really interesting. Climate affects gender, gender affects climate. And Karen, you can speak to that a lot. You already sort of talked to us about this huge movement that you've created around queer and climate this week.
They don't just pull your teeth, they keep them. And it's not for medical waste. It's for something way deeper.
Once it's in your body, you can't get it out.
Is introduced. What do you see?
They're introduced once they're basically gone.
Once they're basically gone.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
This is the autoimmune industry complex.
This is the top of a newborn's head while it's crowning. This is an electrofetal monitor.
Child labor is broadly banned, right? But then when tech companies do it and kids are voluntarily childly laboring online, it doesn't count as child labor?
Let's back up a bit. Child labor online? How did we get here?
Genetic DNA evidence of children's teeth in the food, in the burgers, which linked it back to, was it not Wisconsin, Missouri or Wyoming, one of those states that's in the middle of nowhere, where they actually found human meat inside one of the processing plants at McDonald's. And they said, we're not sure how it's happened. Maybe somebody fell in there and they haven't reported it. But between McDonald's closing, the reports of the Japanese McDonald's try to pass the buck, try to blame it on the Americans, saying we got the food from the USA. It didn't come from here. And then they said, you know what? That's probably somebody playing a prank. But they're closing a lot of branches down at McDonald's. And McDonald's traditionally, Nick, the last 40, 50 years has been one of the safest franchises you could buy, because what they do is they do a very, very detailed demographic study of where you're going to put these McDonald's, about the income of the people, where they are, the population. They don't just put them randomly. They're very, very specific about where they are. So human meat in the McDonald's food, including children's teeth that have been ground up and put in there. Very disturbing.
But why?
But why? It's where they hide the bodies. That's what they're saying. You know how many children disappear every year? Where are they going to hide? Say there's 250,000 children disappear in America every year. Where are all the bodies?
I saw it myself. I couldn't believe it. And just, just little bitty babies, just all torn pieces. Their heads chopped off, arms, legs, just...
Hundreds of human fetuses, some possibly in the 6th month of development, were found stacked in a large shipping container picked up behind the home of a medical laboratory owner. Detective Roland Drouin said the fetuses, from the size of an egg up to as much as 4 pounds, were preserved in white plastic containers, packed in cardboard boxes and stored in the large container. The fetuses were discovered Thursday night after the owner of the 20-foot by 8-foot storage container repossessed it from Mel Weisberg because he failed to make a $1,700 payment. The company picked it up and brought it back. They noticed it was quite heavy. While unloading, a box had dropped and a fetus was discovered.
One of them fell down and hit me right in front of my feet. And
Everybody is freaking out about this KFC commercial because they just revealed that their chicken is made with human meat. And this has been old news for a while now. You guys should have known this by now. And I can prove to you what is actually going on based on scientific studies that are available to the public and have been since 2020, so you know it's real. HEK293 are baby fetus cells that have been cloned. Fuck, it's so disgusting. They've been cloned and put into pretty much every fast food chain and product that you see in the grocery store, and they're used to inhibit the taste buds so that you don't notice all the chemicals that they put into this food to make it addictive. And guess what? It is in pretty much everything, and it isn't on the food label, but if you read the studies, they will tell you that it is used in many different kinds of foods, and they will list off all the corporations that use it, and it's all the big ones that own all the other little corporations. So it's in pretty much everything, and it won't be on any ingredients list either. So that's what they mean when they say that KFC is is part human, because it really is. And who knows, maybe they're even taking a step further and growing these chickens in labs, 3D printing chickens. I know we've seen that before, where they've done that with organs. If they can do it with organs, they can do it with chicken. Chicken is the most simplest form of an amino acid. It's the most simplest form of meat. That's why every other animal out there tastes like chicken. It's a joke, you know. They say, oh, what does crocodile taste like? Oh, it tastes like chicken, because it's the most basic form of an amino acid.
Fue lo que decía esta joven al momento que estaba protagonizando su escándalo en plena vía pública. Adelante. Luis, esta es la triste realidad de la joven Gabriela Rico Jiménez, quien, como observamos en unos momentos, intentó también agredir al elemento policíaco que logró someterla esta madrugada. Por eso, bueno, vamos a buscar la versión de las autoridades de por qué.
First wave feminism sought to give women men's rights without men's responsibilities. Second wave feminism sought to reduce or eliminate women's responsibilities. And third wave feminism seeks to increase men's responsibilities. We find that men can't win for losing. They still bear the majority of the burdens they did 100 years ago. To one degree or another, they are still expected to pay on the first date and onward, still expected to pay most or all of the household bills, still expected to be at least as educated as their female partner, still expected to be the one to buy the ring and to buy the flowers and then to buy the chocolates on Valentine's Day, still expected to put themselves between a woman and any danger, still expected to take responsibility for themselves and others, especially women and children. The primary difference is they aren't allowed to expect any thanks, gratitude, respect, status, or reward for it. In one, girls and women are their equals, every bit as tough, capable, resilient, self-reliant, and powerful. And in the other, girls and women are so vulnerable and fragile that they need to be treated with special gentleness and consideration, extra protection and respect. And they are so incapable that they need boys and men to rescue them from anything that might endanger or upset them. Men owe it to us for how horrible men were in the past. I'm just here to ask, what the hell are we doing to our boys and to our men?
African Americans loyally supported the United States during the First World War. And then when they returned to the United States, they were determined to enjoy a greater degree of democracy. But whites were not prepared for any changes here.
African American returning veterans were often beaten at the train stops when they arrived. They were attacked by their fellow veterans who were white. They were attacked by civilians. 28 cities burned during the famous Red Summer of 1919. Although we refer to them as race riots, they were often small race wars. The black veterans were shooting back.
How many cops does it take to screw in a light bulb?
How many?
None. They just beat the shit out of the room for being black.
The CIA had developed a program to assassinate Lumumba under Devlin's encouragement and management. The program they developed, the operation didn't work. They didn't follow through on it. It was to give poison to Lumumba, and they couldn't find a setting in which to get the poison to him successfully in a way that it wouldn't appear to be a CIA operation. I mean, you couldn't invite him to a cocktail party and give him a drink and have him die a short time later, obviously. And so they gave up on it. They got cold feet. And instead, they handled it by the chief of station talking to Mobutu about the threat that Lumumba posed, and Mobutu going out and killing Lumumba, having his men kill Lumumba.
What about the CIA's relationship with Mobutu? Were they paying him money?
Yes, indeed.
Melanin isn't just in your skin. It's in your bones, your organs, and yes, your teeth. Your teeth holds what's called melanin-rich dentin, a powerful conductor of energy and memory. Why do you think your teeth are connected to your head? This is why ancient tribes consider teeth sacred. They knew your teeth stored not just DNA, but spiritual coding. So why do dentists keep them? Because they know the power within them. Extracted teeth get disposed of? No, they get studied, harvested, and in some cases, sold. They extract more than just a tooth. They extract ancestral data. They take what carries your unique genetic frequency and remove it from your possession. Think about it. Why do you think that root canals are so pushed? Why do they want to pull rather than heal? Because your body regenerates. Your teeth can actually heal themselves if given the right minerals and environment. But they don't teach you that. Everything about you, your melanin, your DNA, your frequency, is priceless.
I love the taste of strawberry cheesecake. The intense strawberry flavor is one I savor. The creamy texture is wonderful. Strawberry cheesecake is incredible.
This milk has been sitting in my refrigerator for close to 6 weeks, and it is still
perfectly safe to consume. That's because this is unpasteurized raw milk, and raw milk will not spoil like conventional milk does. Let me break it down for you. Raw milk is a living superfood very similar to human breast milk. It is packed full of gut-healthy bacteria. To consume it for that milky sweetness, you want to drink it within the first 7 to 10 days. After that, it starts the process of fermenting into yogurt. All that gut-healthy bacteria starts to eat up a lot of the sugar and sweetness from the milk, and that is when the fermentation process starts. Pasteurized milk, on the other hand, is a dead food. The heating process kills off most, if not all, of the nutrients, so they load it full of synthetics to make up for it. Our bodies struggle to digest and absorb these synthetic nutrients, and that is actually why many people can't have dairy, but they can consume raw dairy just fine. And for those concerned about safety, please ask yourself, do you eat store-bought leafy greens or even pizza? You are way more likely to get sick consuming these foods. The numbers just are not there to justify all the fear-mongering. And many of these farms, like mine in New York State, must pass monthly rigorous testing from the state for cleanliness and hygiene. In fact, many large scientific studies have found a correlation between raw milk consumption and decreased rates of allergies, eczema, ear infections, eczema, fevers, and respiratory infections. And it also aids in recovery from antibiotic use with
all these symbols of death. I mean, there are pumpkins all over the world who are losing their lives during Halloween night, and yet we, as a society, we go out and celebrate it, and we go door to door and we ask for pumpkins, and it's a big celebration to us. It's quite ironic how one group of people are thinking it's fun and another group of people are taking pumpkins. I can't say go ahead and have Halloween pumpkins. It's quite ironic.
And one of my favorite examples is multiple sclerosis. You know, we claim that, and I'm a spine surgeon. For all my life, I did neurology evaluations. And we'd have somebody come in and they thought that it was their back or their neck, and I'd examine them and see them and think, no, that's not what's going on. Let's get, this may be something else, thinking about multiple sclerosis or MS. So I would get an MRI of the brain and the spinal cord, and it would come back with a reading and I'd look at it too, but it would come back as a reading from the radiologist. Oh, there are plaques in the brain and the spinal cord, and that means MS. So what is MS? They never take it the next step, and what causes it? Well, finally, we have a really good pathologist, Dr. McDonald, down, I think it's in Florida, who actually did very careful sectioning of the brain and spinal cord and found out that 100% of the dead MS patients he had autopsied had parasites in their brain and spinal cord. Some of it was actually grossly visible to the naked eye. So we just accepted, over my whole 45 years in medicine, we accepted that the smart people at the universities were paying attention to this stuff. And what we're learning, thanks to COVID, I will say, is that they weren't paying attention, that this can't be by accident. One of the things, too, I'll say is that after 45 years in medicine and seeing them telling us things that are completely wrong over and over and over again, you finally wake up and realize this is not by accident. This is a long-term.
If I told you that time zones aren't just about keeping track of time, and that they were created as part of a secret global experiment for psychological manipulation and control. Time zones were invented not for convenience, but to keep different regions of the world in mental separation, creating artificial divisions that affect how we think and feel. Back in the late 1800s, when time zones were first standardized, powerful officials and early industrial moguls realized that people's energy, productivity, and even emotions were highly sensitive to synchronization with the natural rhythms of the day. If they could separate populations by hours, keeping people in different states of time, they could control the collective mood of entire regions. For instance, some time zones are intentionally kept out of sync with their true solar time.
Oh, hello, young lady. Quite a marvelous day, innit?
Why does she talk so weird?
Let me play with her.
Well, hey there, little nugget. I'm going to be the first black female president of the United States of America.
It is common when hospital staff are telling you that they want to put an internal fetal monitor on your baby's head, they say it's a clip or a sticker. It is neither of those things. It's actually this. Not a clip. It is a small piece of wire that they screw into the first layer of your baby's skin. Informed consent is so important, and it's frequently not given in this sort of situation. And many families are surprised to find in the days after a scab on their baby's head. And this sort of thing is exactly why we created Birthify. We're your digital doula from bump to baby, guiding and preparing you from everything from pregnancy to those newborn baby days.
On a popular household cleaner, Fabuloso. The recall is pulling more than 4 million bottles off store shelves.
Stems from a type of bacteria called Pseudomonas.
Fabuloso is known for providing 2 times the cleaning strength, but you may get more than you bargained for.
Yes, this is a cleaning product. It's not designed to have those bacteria in it. There was a mistake made.
The professor says there are different types of pseudomonas that can lead to serious infections when inhaled.
One in particular is the species is aeruginosa, and there's another is fluorescens. Can be a very bad pathogen, particularly to people who are immunocompromised.
If you clean your countertops with this inside, Dr. Spratt says you may end up spreading the germ around your home.
Somebody puts it into a spray bottle, that would generate an aerosol, and Pseudomonas aeruginosa in particular can cause very bad respiratory tract infections.
Dr. Spratt says a cystic fibrosis patient with the disorder could die.
You already had your reservations towards religion.
I had reservations in kindergarten.
What informed you that early?
They said Christians are the lambs of God. And I know sheep are very stupid animals. So I wanted to be a goat. I realized goats were very intelligent and sheep were not. I said to my friends, the Bible was written by a liar like me. That's why I don't believe in it. Wow. And they went to report to the teacher. I fear religion more than anything in this world. When you veer away from religion, people think it's because you are not interested in God. But it's the opposite. Religion comes between you and God. I don't want there to be anything between me and God. I want to have a direct relationship with God. All religions say there is only one God. Whether it is true or not, it means Christians and Muslims, even when they are fighting, they are worshipping the same God, because they both believe there is one God. So religion is what creates the conflict between human beings. God unites us, but religion divides us. So I like the God without the religion. You know, in Ghana, I see 3-year-old children, they can recite A, B, C, D up to Z, but actually, what does that prove? It doesn't prove anything. So we should teach young children how to play, to interact with other children, to improve their social skills. So this, our obsession with teaching children 1 to 100 when they are 2 years old, yes, it's not healthy for our children. Our education system has done us more harm than good. So far, the primary purpose of our educational system so far has been to separate us from our inherent identity. First of all, you are not taught in your own language. If you go to church, they preach to you in your own language. The only book that has ever been translated into our languages is the Bible. But what they pretend to be teaching us, they never translated into our languages. So we never understood it. So the primary purpose of education is to indoctrinate you with religion. There is no school in Ghana where religion is not compulsory. Primary purpose of education, as it was brought to us, was to teach us religion. That is why they translated the religion into our language, but they didn't translate anything else into our language. That means they are not actually interested in us learning anything other than religion. Our entire system of education is based on a British model. The British were not interested in making us better people. Otherwise, they would not have colonized us. Colonizing somebody is not about helping them, it's about helping yourself.
He turned back towards Haiti October the 29th, 1494, wondering how his new settlement had fared. He was shocked to find that it had behaved like its predecessor, that the Spaniards had raped native women, stolen native stores of food, and kidnapped native boys to serve as slaves, and that the natives had killed many Spaniards in revenge. Columbus himself now became a slave dealer. Let me read that again. Listen very carefully to this. Written by Will Durant, Dr. Will Durant, one of the foremost European historians. In The Story of Civilization, Volume 6, page 265. If you don't have it, go to the library and check it out, please. Columbus himself now became a slaveholder. He sent out expeditions to capture 1,500 natives. 400 of these he gave to settlers. 500 he dispatched to Spain. 200 of these died on the voyages. The survivors were sold at Seville, but died in a few years, unable to adjust themselves to the colder climate or perhaps to the savagery of civilization.
Flying monkeys, Daryl, in the movie The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, absolutely. Who are the flying monkeys of the present?
Well, they were the griffins to Queen Califia, and Queen Califia is the Wicked Witch of the West.
Oh, there.
So there they show us right there that the Wicked Witch of the West was I know, they're telling you all the stuff back in 33. Frank Baum wrote the book in, I think, 1894 or something like that, and they made the first color movie, The Wizard of Oz. They put us on our strawmans. They put us out to sea under Admiralty law. So that's when all this began, you know, the whole hiding of it all. And then, you know, so, yeah, it's really, it is fascinating that this whole allegory has been played out. And the controllers that are controlling us, they do things over decades. And they got all the movies that give all the pre-programming like 9/11, you know, the towers coming down with Bruce Willis and all the different things. They tell us what they're going to do and they say, go ahead and try and stop us. So
Navajo is Navajo. That means we will be them. It's straight up Creole. Navajo. Navajo. That means we will be them. Straight up Creole. Now, you go to Cherokee. It's shell okay. Shell okay. That means your flesh or your heart. Shell okay. Shell okay. Shell okay. Your flesh in your heart. Creole. Now you don't know it. You pronounce it Cherokee because they put everything together because this is a part of a scheme and you assume that shit had to do with them. No, it's straight up Creole. It's not them. Let's go to the other one. Choctaw. Man, listen, man. Now, Choctaw is shocked out. Shocked out. Shocked out. That means your shock, your pain. Shocked out. They are describing shocked out. That means your pain. Shock out. Shocked out. Today you say Choctaw, but it's shocked out. Shocked out. That means your shock, your pain. People don't even know that. Let's keep on moving. Chippewa. This is 100 Creole. Chippewa. Now, this is how we do when we pushing chicken, when we pushing a sacred animal you call cordon, that you call turkey. When we push, we say Chippewa. Chippewa. That means push, run away, and be scared of the king. Chippewa. Today you say Chippewa. Chippewa. That means you are afraid of the king. You are afraid of the king. Chippewa. Now, the next one. Sioux. 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 That means if you are
homeless, just buy a house.
If you saved $1 a day for a year, do you know how much money you'd have? Roughly $30,000. If you go to a restaurant and you're like, oh, what am I going to eat for dinner? Like, that's the wrong mindset. You should be thinking, how can I buy this?
Day-to-day life, I don't need a man to fix my car. I'll just go to the mechanic.
You know what country the Great Wall of China is in?
Country?
Yeah.
Japanese.
Yes.
If NASA says it's too hot to go to the sun, then why don't we go at night when the sun turns off?